Hi, it's Timothy Carlson here. Jim Carrey is certainly one of the biggest stars in the world. In 1994, the guy came out of nowhere from being the white guy on In Living Color to becoming someone who had three massive hit comedies on the big screen, all in the same year. He did The Mask, he did Dumb and Dumber, but the first of the three is arguably the best. The movie I'm talking about today is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which makes its 4K debut courtesy of Shout Factory. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. This is number 197 in the Shout Select line. Here's our spine text, back cover. Inside the slipcover, art's basically the same. And then we have some art on the discs. Shout also released the film in a steelbook, although I have to admit I'm not overly crazy about the steelbook art, and I wasn't going to pay extra for that. He's the best there is. In fact, he's the only one there is. He's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Jim Carrey is on the case to find the Miami Dolphins' missing mascot and quarterback Dan Marino. He goes eyeball to eyeball with a man-eating shark, stakes out the Miami Dolphins, and woos and wows the ladies. Whether he's undercover, under fire, or underwater, he always gets his man. Or beast. I remember seeing Ace Ventura in the theaters when I was a kid, and the movie just made me laugh so hard. It's juvenile, it's stupid, but I'll be damned if it's not hilarious. Jim Carrey plays an over-the-top, obnoxious character, but as a kid, to me, he was the funniest thing ever. And looking back at this movie 30-plus years later, I have to say, it's certainly still pretty funny. He, of course, plays a pet detective who has a job trying to retrieve missing animals, and of course, he's out to try to find a missing white dove that's worth several $1,000s so that he can pay his rent and appease his not-so-happy landlord. He begins investigating the dolphin mascot of the Miami Dolphins football team and begins researching past players and discovering a mysterious player known as Ray Finkel who has a very strange past that may be linked to the case in one way or another. Meanwhile, he has to deal with the ridicule of the local police department, but he also finds himself wooing and wowing a woman who works for the Dolphins organization, portrayed by Courtney Cox. And it's not long before, of course, all manners of zany hell break loose. Ace Ventura is less than 90 minutes long, so it's a pretty brisk and fast-paced comedy, but Jim Carrey manages to cram so many laughs into the runtime that it's certainly more than worth your while. Is this a movie that's thought-provoking and will have you contemplating the meaning of life? Absolutely not. Is it a stupid, crude movie that'll have you laughing because you forget how dumb it is because of how hard you're laughing? Absolutely. I will say there are certainly some dated themes in this movie. One of the plot points does revolve around a transgendered character, and our hero's reaction to this character is certainly not the most appropriate thing. Although I have to say, Ace's reactions to this are so ridiculously over the top, they're kind of hard to take seriously. At the end of the day, I found myself loving Ace Ventura: Pet Detective almost as much as I did 30 years ago. It's funny, it's the movie that put Jim Carrey on the map, and I certainly think it's worth owning. The earlier Blu-ray releases of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective weren't half bad looking, but this 4K disc actually is a step up in nearly every way. You get a nice boost in color from the HDR, and the tropical Florida settings of the movie certainly get a nice boost as a result of that. It is a very nice looking disc. There are a few scenes where the color timings may be a bit inconsistent and maybe a little more monochromatic, but I think that's really just due to the nature of the original source material. You do have to keep in mind, I don't think anyone was banking on this movie being a huge blockbuster hit, which it did end up becoming, making the career of Jim Carrey on the big screen. Sadly, the one area this release really falters is bonus material. All we get is a trailer and a commentary track. We don't get any of the television deleted scenes, and it's also missing the dolphin trainer scene that was added to the VHS version of the movie, and that's very disappointing given that it's actually one of my favorite scenes, one of the most hilarious things here. So, Shout Factory is usually no strangers to including bonus material, but I guess they can only work with what they're given. I also want to add that the earlier Blu-ray release also included 3 episodes of the animated series. Sadly, those are nowhere to be found here either. So, picture quality is very good, the movie's very funny, but again, it tanks in the bonus features department, and that's truly disappointing. I can recommend this disc on the strength of the transfer and the film itself, but due to the lack of bonus features, I would wait until this one goes on sale to pick it up. How about you? What do you think of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? Do you think this is an underrated dark comedy masterpiece? Do you think it's stupid and mindless? Do you think it feels dated in any way? Is it Jim Carrey's best performance? Comment down below and let me know what you should think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm TLT Carlson. See you next time.